Well, good morning, good afternoon to everyone here. I want to welcome you to the Education on Air session, Teaching Computer Science with Google for Education. Jared Amelong is a Google Education trainer with over 8 years of experience in using Google for Education tools in the classroom. For the past 6 years, he has taught courses in computer science and information technology at Granite Bay High School in Granite Bay, California. During his time in the classroom, he led the pilot program to launch Google for Education in his district. He also provided professional development to the GBHS staff during the initial Google for Education deployment. Currently, he uses a myriad of Google for Education tools in his AP Computer Science A course, which is taught in a blended format, both face-to-face and online. Today, he will share with you a few of those tools in his presentation, CS for All Students. If you have questions, please use the area below. We'll see those, upvote them. We'll have the opportunity to look to answer some of those. So Jared, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you.
Randy, thanks for the great introduction. My name is Jared Amelong. It's a treat to be here today. What an amazing opportunity for us to connect with one another around the globe, share all of our different areas of expertise. I've just been thrilled with all the sessions I've been able to tune into this morning. Today I'm going to share with you one of my passions, and I hope a few things you'll pick up along the way might help improve your school or your classroom. Specifically, we're going to talk about teaching computer science to all students, grade levels, elementary, students that are 10, 11, 12 years old, to our middle school students, students that are 12 and 13 years of age, and then computer science at the high school level, and that is our students that are preparing to go on to college. So I'm going to share with you all kinds of different lessons and activities that again, you might be able to integrate at your school site. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and begin our session with a quote. And this quote comes from President Obama in 2013 during what we call Computer Science Education Week. You might be familiar with the hourofcode.com activities, the idea of getting millions of students committing an hour of their time during Computer Science Education Week to learn some computer science. So take a moment if you haven't done so and read this quote. Pretty powerful when you think about it, that we're talking about not just using educational technology, but we want to actually develop and create for our educational technology. Maybe you have Chromebooks in your classroom. How cool would it be for your students to actually create apps on those devices? Pretty fantastic ideas that can be integrated in your own classroom, or maybe perhaps at the end of this session you'll learn about some new classes that you could help introduce at your school site. This is a fun quote I'll share with you as well. I think about computer science and the ability to program as a superpower. It's really our chance to be superhuman, to create things that change the world. Drew Houston is the CEO of Dropbox, and he also believes that coding is truly a superpower. So if you think about it, and you look at the kids that you have in your classroom, wow, we must have a whole army, a whole school of superheroes, students that are ready and possibly able to create things that are going to change the world for us in the future. It's just fabulous, and it's a motivating thing for us to teach something as simple as Hello World, our first program for students. I'll share that with you here in a few minutes. The idea of a digital native is that our students have grown up on devices. They've used the internet. They've used an iPad since a very early age. They are familiar with the internet, computers, technology, and teaching computer science would allow them to create for those devices. Some more compelling data. This might help answer the question of why. Why would I want computer science at my school? This infographic is data from code.org, a site I encourage you to visit. And specifically, Code.org compiled some data from a variety of different sources and found that by the year 2020, we will have 400,000 computer science college graduates, okay, in 2020. Yet there will be 1.4 million open jobs in computing. So that's a gap of 1 million unfilled jobs. This is an area of high wage, high growth, high skill careers for students. And if we start teaching this in our schools, we're going to prepare them for what Code.org calculated as a $500 billion opportunity. $500 billion. That is a lot of zeros if you stretch that thing out. High wage, high skill, it's an emphasis that we see across the nation right now in the Common Core. We're preparing kids for both college and for career. A career in computer science absolutely is something we want to encourage our students to consider. And teaching computer science is a nice way to introduce them to that. Okay, so the theme of our presentation today is really going to be around 3 big ideas. I want to share with you 3 big ideas of why computer science should be taught at your school. Sure, there's data that shows that there's a $500 billion opportunity. Sure, President Obama put together a great quote that talks about the need to include computer science at schools. Sure, it's a superhuman power. But I've got 3 big ideas that will drive home the idea that when you're back in class on Monday, or you're at your school and you're working with a teacher on Monday, here are the 3 reasons why you want to talk about teaching computer science at your school. Numero uno, computer science is interactive and engaging. It truly is the definition of Common Core. It's the integration of multiple subject areas. You can include math and information technology. Computer science can branch out into to other sciences and include the ability for students to conduct experiments in their physics classes. It's a wonderfully interactive, wonderfully engaging. I'm actually going to demonstrate the interactivity, the engagement with a quick video that you can find on YouTube. So let me go ahead and share that with you now.
Some people think that one day computers will be as intelligent as humans. Do you think that will happen?
I don't think so.
Do you think that will happen?
Of course, I'm more intelligent than any TV presenter. Ouch, it hurts. Well, not really. I'm a robot.
Okay, what is the capital of New Zealand?
What kind of question is that? Everybody knows that the capital of New Zealand is Wellington.
Okay, what's 4 times 5?
Seriously, I'm not a calculator. I'm a robot. I'm capable of doing amazing things. I'm going to answer you just because I know that you are a human who is not capable of answering this question. The answer is 20.
Who is your father?
Tell me more about your family.
What? No, I asked you. Who is your father?
Tell me more about your family.
What? At the moment, computers don't have the general intelligence of humans, but they can do some jobs that require specialized intelligence, such as playing board games, speech recognition for telephone answering, analyzing buying patterns and making recommendations for online shopping, video games, logistics planning and scheduling, recognizing what's in an image, intelligent controllers for driving cars.
That's where we'll go ahead and stop. It's a great video from a site that I'll share with you later called CS Unplugged. CS Unplugged. Go ahead and click back over here to the presentation. Maybe you noticed those robots seemed wonderfully engaging and entertaining for students. That particular device is called the NAO, N-A-O robot, and through computer science, through programming, students can develop interactive activities with this humanoid robot. Really a wonderful tool. The video went on to talk about things like computer science and this idea of artificial intelligence is used in things like board games. That's a much less expensive option than a Now Robot. So today we're actually going to play together in one of our first and favorite board games, that is Tic-Tac-Toe, or Noughts and Crosses is another title for that particular game. The activity is called Intelligent Piece of Paper. This is a computer science lesson that I'm sharing with you to show the interactivity and engagement that can occur from computer science education. With that said, in the shared folder that you've probably noticed a document in the Google EDU on Air page, there's a link to a collaborative spreadsheet, that contains a tic-tac-toe board. So I'll show you how this works. The idea that we can take an interactive Google Sheet, up to, I believe, 50 of us can play together, and we can actually demonstrate how artificial intelligence can be created and modeled. So let's go ahead and open those two things up here. First is our tic-tac-toe game board here, tic-tac-toe game board. Both Randy and I are logged in right now to play a little game of tic-tac-toe. Of course, we grew up playing this game, so we know the rules. The idea is we want to get 3 in a row, and students in your 3rd grade class perhaps understand the rules. And at the high school level, in my AP Computer Science class that I teach, students think they have some really great strategies in terms of competing at tic-tac-toe. But the lesson is actually not in how to play a game. It's rather to look at artificial intelligence. So this second link is called the Intelligent Piece of Paper in a Google Doc that I've provided to you. And we've actually written a nice piece of artificial intelligence here that guarantees that this intelligent piece of paper will never lose. We'll never lose at tic-tac-toe. It might tie, and it might tie a lot, because tic-tac-toe is inherently a draw game, but the intelligent piece of paper will never lose. So with that said, I start to read my piece of artificial intelligence, and again, this is a much cheaper version of our Now Robot. It says, I am X and I go first. I am X and I go first. So Randy and I are playing along, and specifically, I am X, I go first, and I go in a corner. So this could be an activity that you print out on worksheets for your students if you're interested, or you could play on a large-scale collaborative Google Sheet if you're interested. So Randy's going to go ahead and make his move. He's strategizing, and he places his O in the lower quadrant of our Noughts and Crosses game. So again, I go back to my artificial intelligence, and I have to make some decisions based on the human's move. So if the other player did not go in a corner, then I go to the opposite corner of move 1. So Randy did not go to the opposite corner, so I'm going to go ahead and play there. That's the artificial intelligence telling me what to do. So Randy gets to go ahead and make his tic-tac-toe move. Ooh, that is challenging. Okay. Again, it's tempting for me to think as a human, but I have to go read the intelligent piece of paper and follow the instructions. What a great activity for students to really follow details. In move number 3, it says if there are 2 X's and a space in a line, then go to that space. If I go take a look, I have 2 X's and a space. I'm going to go there, and I think Randy was so gracious, he let me win tic-tac-toe. So that is an example of a highly engaging, interactive activity that can scale across different grade levels. I've seen students participate in this activity at the middle school level, and teachers ask the students to trace back their steps and think about, why does the intelligent piece of paper work? how is this algorithm written? What is an algorithm? And why does it work? And some great discussions emerge with students. I do a similar activity on one of the first days of class in the AP Computer Science class. That's with juniors and seniors in high school. And then certainly at the elementary level, this would be a great activity in following instructions and playing a nice game of tic-tac-toe along the way. So again, first reason why teaching computer science at your school is important is it's highly engaging and interactive. Clicking back over to our presentation. And to our slide deck. Okay, second reason that I'm going to share with you today why computer science should be taught at your school site is that it's rigorous and relevant to the real world. Again, tying into the Common Core. Really powerful things can emerge from computer science. You can solve huge problems. And along the way, you can have students participate in these lessons that are wonderfully rigorous. So I'm going to share with you today an activity called the Muddy City Problem. Muddy, because the roads in the Muddy City are made of dirt. And it's shown before you is a graphic of the Muddy City. This particular computer science activity is actually demonstrating a very complex problem, one of what we call optimization, solving problems of optimization. The challenge that I would pose to my students in this particular activity is to connect all of the houses in this muddy city with the fewest number of paved roads. We're solving the problem of the city being muddy, and students need to come up with a creative solution, one of optimization, to connect all of these houses in the fewest number of squares. For our high school students, we can bring in some finance and entrepreneurship and talk about the costs of paving individual squares. Really kind of a fun activity. The computer science term associated with an activity like this is called a minimal spanning tree. A minimal spanning tree. So for our activity together, I've prepared a Google Drawing. Google Drawing is a fantastic tool in Google Drive that allows you to to create images of anything virtually, but I've seen wonderful applications of Google Drawing, including graphic organizers. So if you go ahead and you're engaged in the presentation, you can click to Google Drawings, or you can access these materials later on and see what the interactive Muddy City map looks like. I'm here in Google Drawing, and our students completing this same activity would use tools like different shapes, perhaps. Maybe I want to draw rectangles and start to connect all of my different lines. So I can say, well, I want to connect this row and maybe this row. There's lots of different ways for us to draw and interact with Google Drawing. The nice thing is that students can interact with these different lines, delete them if they ultimately decide that it is not the correct path or the most efficient path. It really a fantastic activity. This is a great lesson plan that you can integrate into an existing math class. You can integrate into an existing science class. Certainly it fits nicely into a comprehensive computer science class like AP Computer Science. So this is called the Muddy City Problem. And in case you were wondering what the solution looks like, or one potential solution, here is a completed map using Google Drawing. Again, one potential solution. And I was able to do this in 25 steps, 25 different pieces of asphalt that I paved, if you will. And students find other ways to get to that same number of 25. And they debate with one another whether or not 25 is in fact the most efficient minimal spanning tree. So it's a rigorous problem, and there are multiple solutions that can be implemented for an activity like Muddy City problem. Students can work in small groups together on this particular activity, and it has an opportunity to be expanded to a real-world application. Certainly, Muddy City is a fictitious city. This is nothing more than a graphic or a worksheet that you're using in your class. However, Google has a nifty tool that you may have used or heard of called Google Maps. Google Maps. And specifically in Google Maps, we have the ability to create our own version of a map using a tool called Google My Maps. Google My Maps. So you could extend a lesson like Muddy City problem to a real-world application. I'm going to go ahead and click over to Google My Maps. And the idea here oops. Looks like we lost a little bit of our technology. Let's see if I can get it back online here. I'm here. Okay, perfect. The idea behind Google My Maps is that we can use specific places that students have visited, much like Muddy City. Students can collect data on all of the places they visit over the course of a weekend, and they can try to find the most efficient way to connect those destinations, come up with the most optimal way to travel around town. So it's a great tool, Google My Maps, and it's a chance for students to practice in the real-world application of a particular problem. Okay, let's click over to our slide deck here. And we're going to go to our third activity that demonstrates why computer science can be taught at your school site. Go ahead and load this up and share with you. All right, so Muddy City Maps, Muddy City, Google My Maps, great way to build a real-world, unpredictable activity. The third and final thing I'm going to share with you about computer science is the fact that it doesn't even require a computer. Teaching computer science without a computer is like conducting astronomy without a telescope. It's certainly nice to have a telescope to look at the stars, but it's not required. To that end, we can teach computer science in any classroom. Students can be engaged in what we call unplugged activities to teach really, really important concepts without even having a computer at hand. Of course, today we're engaged in EDU on air, and we all have computers before us. So I'm going to build upon this CS Unplugged activity with an interactive Google Plus community. One of the most fantastic activities that one could teach in CS Unplugged is the idea of building an algorithm around a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It's really an intriguing deal, and students of all ages thoroughly enjoy watching the creation of these different activities, building a peanut butter jelly sandwich, brushing teeth, building instructions that are precise and easy to follow. So I'm going to go ahead and share with you a Google Plus community where we could sit down and think about what instructions need to be prepared to build a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And in your classroom, if you wanted to do something similar, you can have as much fun with the students in terms of following their instructions closely, making fun of instructions that maybe aren't entirely thorough. So it's a lot of fun. I've created a Google Plus community that's linked in the presentation that you're welcome to participate in. And I've provided a few different examples of different algorithms that students have prepared. So for example, take 2 slices of bread from the loaf, and you're standing in front of your classroom and you grab 2 slices of bread from a bag, but maybe you rip the bag open and pieces of bread fly everywhere. It's wonderfully entertaining. Apply 2 tablespoons of jelly on both halves. That sounds like a jelly-centric peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Apply 2 tablespoons of peanut butter in the same way. Join the 2 halves. So this is maybe a precise algorithm. This is a computer program, if you will. But you can ask students to dig deeper and think about what more could you do to be more precise, to build the most accurate program, the most accurate peanut butter and jelly sandwich that you can. So it's a very nifty little activity, and students just find it wonderfully hilarious to see one another's computer programs. Using a Google Plus community, students can actually review one another's work. They can +1, they can comment, of course, and say, what about this? So on and so forth. So a Google Plus community is although this is an unplugged activity, is a way that you can create interactive discussions with your students outside of the traditional class walls. So that's an example of an unplugged activity. Building a peanut butter jelly sandwich doesn't even require a computer. So those are the 3 key essentials to teaching computer science, or the reasons why you should teach computer science at your school. It's interactive and engaging for students. It's rigorous and relevant to the real world. It doesn't even require a computer. So those are the 3 key components. I want to share with you some ideas on where you can go from here. Obviously, computer science is fun. We can hang with it, pun intended. But now what? What can I do on Monday when I'm back in my classroom or I'm back at my school with my teachers? In the presentation, I've created some interactive logos that link to different tools, different services, different comprehensive courses that you can teach at your school. Some of our activities today came from Computer Science Unplugged. Folks there have built dozens of lessons that you can unpack and use in your classroom. Some great applications to math, great applications to IT. Khan Academy and Hour of Code are great platforms for teaching computer science. If your students have access to Chromebooks, they can learn computer science on those devices using either hourofcode.com or khanacademy.com. 2 different organizations have found ways to teach computer science by way of math. Bootstrapworld.org and UC Davis here in Northern California have built entire math curricula, complete math courses that teach computing, that teach robotics, while teaching courses like algebra and integrated math. So they're very fascinating courses. I encourage you to check out those links by clicking on the logos. The last 2 courses I want to share with you are Exploring Computer Science and The Beauty and Joy of Computing. The peanut butter and jelly activity today came from the Exploring Computer Science course. That is a National Science Foundation funded course that's being taught across the nation, has an excellent professional development program for teachers that maybe have never taught a computer science course. It is a UC A through G approved course, which is really important for some of the folks here in California. It is rigorous, it is equitable for all students, just a fabulous course. On the same note, Beauty and Joy of Computing comes out of UC Berkeley, and it is going to be an AP computer science course starting in 2016-2017. So for our high school teachers and administrators that are interested in teaching computer science at their schools, this is a wonderful course to consider. Also National Science Foundation funded, and some fabulous professional development and resources for teachers to be able to teach this course. So again, all of those logos are linked. These are just different ways in which you can bring computer science to your classroom. You get the why, it's important, it leads to high-wage, high-skilled jobs. Here are the ways in which you can bring it into the classroom now. So with that said, I'm going to jump into some of the question and answer. Thank you to Randy. He's been moderating and monitoring the questions that you've been providing in the Q&A. So I'm going to go ahead and jump up to the first question. It looks like it comes from Todd, and he's looking to hear from anybody that's interested in developing K-12 tech fluency curriculum that includes some computational thinking and computer science. I'll give a plug to one particular organization that has started to build a curriculum that actually goes K-12, and that is, it's really a fabulous curriculum called IT Essentials, ICT Essentials rather. Let's see if I can go ahead and pull that website up and share it with you. And it has game design, it has programming and logic built into it. Really a great suite of curriculum, and it comes from the folks at CIW. So this is a really, really fabulous curriculum, and I encourage you to check it out. It includes kind of that tech fluency piece, but it also includes some of the computational thinking, the logic that goes along with computer science. Another question came in from Noble, asking, for more advanced students that are good at math, do you recommend showing students algorithmic programming contests such as CodeChef and the US Computing Olympiad? Absolutely. For our students that are progressing through courses like AP Computer Science A, or maybe Exploring Computer Science, when there's an opportunity for them to expand beyond the scope of the course, students love competing, getting involved in what we call hackathons, things like HP's Code Wars, which is at, I believe, 7 different locations across the United States and around the world. These are competitions in developing algorithms to solve complex problems. So that's a great opportunity. I'm not really familiar with the US Computing Olympiad, but I suspect that that competition also includes some really challenging things for students to expand upon the things that they've learned. Great question. Thank you, Noble. I appreciate that. Question in terms of where the materials will be located. Where the materials will be located after the session is complete. On google.com, g.co/edu on air, when you get to go back and visit all of the amazing presentations that have occurred yesterday and today, you can actually click on the resources link, and it will take you to a Google Doc that I've created, and I've linked to all of the different tools and examples that I've provided to you today. Awesome. Okay. Well, I believe that's a wrap in terms of questions. If you have additional questions, please feel free to drop them into the Q&A area on the page, and I will answer them asynchronously so that you can see them in future days. Thank you for tuning in today. Again, it was an honor. It was a pleasure to chat with you. Follow me on Twitter or Google+. I'd love to extend the conversation and answer any other questions that you might have. Again, keep up the amazing work, change the world, and thank you, Google, for the awesome opportunity to connect with these amazing educators. Folks, have a great afternoon, evening, or morning to you.